these two gentlemen and two women who are outstanding civil and religious servants, helping the community for many, many, many years. It's my privilege to do that. 100% of funds that come into the charity Mary Queen of All Nations have gone to the poor for 35 years, and this is our 35th anniversary. We take no compensation, and it's our love to do that. I appreciate the fact that you've come here to honor the honorees. So at this point in time, I'd ask Father Monsignor Hart to come forward. Go through a lot of it because Father is the pastor to Assumption Church, where I serve as a Eucharistic minister. It's been my pleasure to serve with him every day. And I see the work that he does behind the scenes. I could read from a resume which is quite extensive. In Assumption Church in Morristown, he oversees 43 ministries. It's a big job and a big church. He also is responsible for handling a lot of personnel matters in the Diocese of Madison. What I see in him is the human side, the touch that he has with individuals, whether it's someone dying or whether they need someone coming to the house. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a poor person in the back of the church who needs some help. I will read a couple of tributes that basically have been given to him. He's a diocesan representative to the New Jersey Catholic Conference Public Policy Committee. He's a member of the Knights of Columbus Third Degree and a Knight of the Fourth Degree, and a Knight of the Equestrian Order of the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem. He's also a member of the Canon Law Society of America, Canon Law Society, and Canon of Great Britain and Ireland. Pope John Paul II appointed him a chaplain to the Holy Father on August 14, 2003, 16 years ago. Monsignor John Hart, Mary Queen of All Nations, is honored to give you this award as a spiritual counselor and advocate for the poor, youth, and education from Mary Queen of All Nations.
Congratulations to Sheriff James Gannon and to Sister Joe and Sister Teresa. How about a round of applause for them? It reminds me of the story about the young boy coming out of church and turned to the priest and said, when I grow up, I'm going to make a lot of money and be very, very rich, and I'm going to give you a lot of money. The priest said, you're going to give me a lot of money? Why would you do that? He said, because my dad says you're the poorest preacher he's ever seen. I'm also thinking about what happened in a monastery a long time ago. The abbot got up and greeted the monks and said, good morning, brothers, hail to you and to your guardian angels. And then they sang back, good morning, Father Abbot, hail to you and to your angels too. So this happened a long time. They kept on doing this for a long time. Good morning, brothers, hail to you and to your guardian angels. Good morning, Father Abbot, hail to you and to your guardian angels too. Well, one day he went in and said, good morning, brothers, hail to you and to your guardian angels. And they chanted back, good morning, Brother Abbot, here to you and to your guardian angels too. But one fellow said, good evening, Brother Abbot. But then he turned around and said, someone chanted evening. This is in so many ways an enchanted evening because of all of you, because of Jim Kavanaugh and because of Merla Riccafranca and everybody who works with them in the Missionary Alliance, Mary Queen of All Nations Missionary Alliance. When you think about everything they do and all that they accomplish, it really is astounding. And it's a great honor for all of us to be here. I want to just have one thought. You know, Lent is a long ways away, but we know that Lent ends with the evening Mass of the Lord's Supper, when we gather in church and we focus on the great gift that Jesus gave us, the gift of the Eucharist. And at that evening Mass of the Lord's Supper, we celebrate the priesthood, and we also are reminded of Jesus' commandment to serve one another. You recall the Gospel in John's Gospel. Jesus, after dinner, takes off his robe and washes the feet of his disciples and said, "What I have done for you, you must do for one another." So I want to say a profound thanks to all of you at Mary, Queen of all Nations, for teaching us the meaning of the Eucharist, and we're called to serve one another, especially the poor. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
It's now my honor to introduce the second honoree, Sister Jo Missionary. She just recently retired from Morristown Memorial Center in Atlantic Health. Many years as a chaplain. I believe it's 36 years of Catholic chaplaincy. She was born in Newark. Home parish was St. Anne's, Newark, for any of those who have a background. She attended St. Anne's Elementary School, St. Peter's High School, Caldwell College, a BA in English, Wesleyan University. There we go. Wesleyan University. She taught for a number of years in the Archdiocese of Newark, both elementary and high school. Board certified hospital chaplain, National Association of Catholic Chaplains. Member of the National Association of Catholic Chaplains. Recently retired, as I mentioned. She was formerly a Caldwell Dominican. She became a member of the Society of the Sisters of the Church of the Diocese of Patterson around May of 1990. She's a recipient of the Chaplain of the Year Award for Gratified Healthcare Ministry from the Diocese of Patterson, which was presented by now deceased Bishop Godimer, who was a big supporter of Mary, Queen of all Nations. Also a recipient of the Papal Honor Cross, bestowed by His Holiness Pope John Paul II, presented by Bishop Frank Godimer. I've seen Sister minister to the poor. This is one of the reasons why she's here. And I'm so honored to be on the stage with her. I'm a chaplain for 3 military organizations, but I'm not board certified. She's certified to the nth degree. And she has the touch when she comes in the room to help a person that's dying and so forth. She's bringing Christ into the room. She's that representative. And that's really the reason why she's here, for us to give her thanks. All of us are in the mission to help the poor, the disabled, all around the world as a practical matter. Sister has done it here admirably, and I'm sure she has ministered to probably well over 1,000 patients. So it's my honor at this point in time to present her. Sister Jo, again, it's my honor to present you this award from Mary, Queen of all Nations. It's a counselor to the sick.
Exceedingly worthy to receive this award. Both Sister Teresa and I were talking about this, and I said, we feel very humble about this. We thank God for the beautiful ministry that He called us to, and ministering to the sick. This has been a blessed year for me, really. I retired from a ministry that I love and had the privilege of working with people that I love, sitting right at table 12 over there. And I celebrated my 60th year as a person in consecrated life. So I have much to be grateful for. I mean, this is a year of blessing in my life. A few times I've seen the Academy Awards, and where they have somebody come and say, well, standing in for so-and-so, this person like said, well, I just want to tell you that I couldn't have done what I did the years that I was teaching, the years that I was ministering to the sick, without the help of the Lord Jesus Christ. And so, standing in for Him, I accept this in the name of the Lord.
Teresa was born in Morristown, home parish, St. Margaret's. I think we have some from St. Margaret's here. She was a graduate of St. Elizabeth's College, graduate work at Jersey City State College, taught many schools in the Madison Diocese, the Archdiocese of Newark, and the Archdiocese of Boston. Pastoral Associate, St. Patrick Parish, Cambridge, Massachusetts, served as a summer chaplain at Morristown Memorial Hospital for 14 years. She retired from full teaching in 2003, member of the National Association of the Catholic Chaplains. Recently retired at the same time as Sister Joe, as I recall. And she was doing part-time ministry in the pediatric area, and that's why I hadn't seen her for a while. Teaching ministry 40 years, hospital ministry 30 years cumulative. Formerly a Sister of Charity in Condenstation, became a member of the Society of the Sisters of the Church of the Diocese of Patterson in March of 1990. She is a recipient of the BEST Award, that's for bringing excellence and service together, BEST, granted by Morristown Memorial Center. She's a recipient of the Healing Hands Award, recognizing outstanding care, which was granted by the foundation from the Morristown Memorial Center. And as I mentioned, there's a table over here from Morristown Memorial. Volunteer teaching of religion to grades 1, 2, and 3 once a week, St. Teresa School, Sacrosanto. It is a tremendous honor to have Teresa, and I'm going to make a public apology. I didn't know that she had retired at the same time as Sister Joe, so when the board approved Sister Joe, we issued the invitation. And then later on, I learned that Sister had returned at the same time. And morally, I could not do one without the other because they're kind of like ping and pong. They go together. They love each other tremendously. They are good friends, not only to each other, but to the community of thousands and thousands of patients that they've overseen. And for myself, who has been in a hospital bed sometimes near death, I greatly appreciate it. We just all appreciate it. There's many in this room who have gone to the hospital, and we can't say enough. So this is a little tribute from a small organization. And while we're small, we basically are recognized around the world now. So thank you, and I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to get the award for you.
Thank you very much. Born and raised in Morristown. I'd like to hear a clap for that one. Also, I came from a most wonderful parish, St. Margaret's. I had the Sisters of Charity from kindergarten to 8th grade. I received my vocation from Jesus by looking at and experiencing the joy of the Sisters of Charity. I went to the junior rate when I was 14. I don't regret 1 minute of that. The Lord called me. I said, yes, I'm a humble servant. I always wanted to be a nurse. When I went to the Sisters of Charity, I asked if I could be a nurse. They said, you will be a teacher. Fine, wonderful. I loved teaching, but Jesus has a sense of humor because I ended up at Morristown Medical Center as a hospital chaplain for children. And I was thrilled to do that. Sister Joe and I both feel very humbled by this beautiful evening that we're experiencing. But Jesus is present here. I can feel his presence. I hope you can. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. And my prayer is this. Let's pray for our country. Let's pray for our children. Let's pray for our church. God bless you.
And again, like the other 3 honorees, it's such a privilege. Jim's resume is about 5 pages long, and I could read you, and we'd probably be here till Monday. but I know, out of respect for everything, he said kind of be short and sweet. He wanted to get on with the program. And this is just typical of Jim. He just does a job. And he's not here because of the excellent credentials, some of which I'll read, and it's going to be just highlights of it. National security clearance. Morris County Sheriff currently. 200 Club Morris County President. Board of Trustees, Board of Boy Scouts of America. Board of Trustees, Vice Chair of the Greystone Park. He worked at Novartis Corporation as the global head of security risk. One of the reasons that we're giving Jim this honor, and what struck us, was that in his free time, of which he doesn't have much of, he basically is a trustee of Table of Hope, and I've gone down to Bethel to observe their work over time. And sometimes I've gone in when they've had things in the chapel where people are recovering. And it's kind of a shouting type, good, positive, uplifting experience. They also feed the poor in Morristown. And this comes into our area. Feeding the poor, clothing the naked, helping just as Christ would want us to do. It has nothing to do with just Catholic. I was at a Catholic Charities last night. It's basically helping each other. And kind of, as Sister Teresa was saying, basically looking out at the world and bringing us all together. Christ is in this room. We have a picture of an experience here. Jim was also Morris County Prosecutor's Office, Boonton Police Department, with quite an extensive history. I could go on, but basically I want to introduce him as a warm-hearted person who is looking out for each one of us, the poor and the disabled that basically can't defend for themselves in the law enforcement field. So those we kind of recognize that that's part of his job, but he's gone over and beyond that, time and time again. We have the drug situations. He is basically an expansion of the program to get out food and to correct many of these things. And he also volunteers just a lot, and he has volunteers in his organization. He pushes them to continue to be volunteer. He teaches by example. And each one of these four have taught us by example. They don't need to say anything. They quietly do their jobs. It's very, very humbling to stand on this stage for these four people. But anyway, it's my honor and privilege to present this award to you.
It makes it all look easy, but certainly it's not. And to be in the company of Monsignor Hart, who's a great friend, and Sister Teresa and Sister Joe, I'm very humbled. I'm a Catholic school kid from Boonton. I was taught by the Dominican sisters, so if I'm sweating profusely at table 2, it has something to do with that. But you know, it's here we are in Morris County. People would say the 6th wealthiest county in the United States, and according to our point in time study, the Vince study, January of this year, we had 388 documented homeless. Doesn't sound right. 388 documented homeless. So we interact with them in the community. We had a friend of mine, Joe, that Senator Bucco knows, Joe Belluzzi, made 51 hats for them today and dropped them off at the church. Right? There's great people doing great things out there in the community. Whether it's issues of homelessness, mental health, addiction, they're helping people in the jail. We have people in this room, as I look around, that have done marvelous things out in the community. So all I can say is I would like to accept this award on behalf of a woman who was very instrumental in my life, who raised children when their fathers would die in New York City, and married 8 young ladies out of her apartment, and worked in the House of Good Shepherd on 14th Street, if you know the House of Good Shepherd in New York City, and raised me, who's my grandmother, Wanda Lau. So I'd like to accept this. Thank you. God bless you all. Thanks a lot.
I'm blessed to be here, and I'd like to offer a blessing to all of us gathered. And I'd like to offer it with the words of Pope Francis, who in a recent letter on World Mission Sunday in October wrote the following: "The Church is on mission in the world. Faith in Jesus Christ enables us to see all things in their proper perspective as we view the world with God's own eyes and heart." And he continues, "This missionary mandate touches us personally. I am a mission, always. You are a mission, always. Every baptized man and woman is a mission. People in love never stand still." I guess he knows something about that. They are drawn out of themselves. They are attracted and attract others in turn. They give themselves to others and build relationships that are life-giving. As far as God's love is concerned, no one is useless or insignificant. Each of us, think of all of us gathered here tonight, each of us is a mission to the world. For each of us is the fruit of God's love. We entrust the Church's mission to Mary, our Mother, in union with her Son, from the moment of the incarnation of the Blessed Virgin, set out on her pilgrim way. She was fully involved in the mission of Jesus, the mission that became her own at the foot of the cross, the mission of cooperating as Mother of the Church in bringing new sons and daughters of God to birth in the Spirit and in faith. We gathered here tonight as we honor Monsignor John Hart, James Gannon, Sheriff, and Sisters Joe and Sister Teresa. We, all of us here, are on mission. And I ask God to bless us tonight as we gather as missionary disciples of Jesus Christ, to send us forth, to go outside of ourselves, Lord, for your kingdom. And bless us as we go. But most importantly now tonight, bless the food we're about to consume. Bless any drink we've had, and any other drink we will have tonight. Let it inebriate us with your Holy Spirit, and let us rejoice in the mission of the Church. Amen. Let the Church say amen. God bless you.
As the servers are walking around the tables just prior to getting your selections and so forth, I wanted to mention, as we properly wanted to get this started, to get us back on schedule. Normally we would introduce different people in the room. We have about 280 people here. I certainly want to recognize State Assemblyman Tony Bucco here at Table 1. Our thoughts are with him and his family with the recent passing of his senator. So please keep their family in your prayers. Tony was very good, and he basically took on his own initiative, and that's the way he is to basically get a joint resolution by the New Jersey legislature. It's a long citation, beautifully written. We won't take time to read it. It's one of those whereas type things, but it's basically a recommendation honoring the four that have been honored tonight. So what we will do is at some point in time, we'll take a picture of all four when we can get together to have them. Thank you very much, Tony, for taking the leadership initiative as always. I normally go popcorn style and jump on one side of the room. This is the odd side of the room, and this is the even side, so I can kind of keep things. It sounds crazy to say it's the odd side of the room, but that's numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, all the way through 27. It's the way I kind of keep track of things. But on this side of the room, we have many in the Assumption area. There's no reason that you can't cross and meet other members of your community and so forth. As a matter of fact, that's the whole purpose of why I read some of these numbers out, so that you will know. So if I read certain numbers on this side and you say, oh, I haven't met John for such and such, he's at table 19 and I want to see him before I leave. Part of the reason is not only fundraising for Mary Queen of All Nations, but we want you to have fun tonight. We tried to give you a delicious meal. The Keller family, Peter Keller in particular, has done a great job. He has 30 people behind the scenes. I encourage you, if you like what you see here, you come back. He basically is helping keep our price down to $85. Trust me, when we do competitive shopping, there's not a meal like this that you'll get for under $150 for a fundraiser. Normally it'll be $200, $250, and some even $500 a plate. I guess I'll take the criticism. I'm the one that tries to hold the price down because we've never advertised in 35 years. The only advertisement that we've done is actually this dinner during the course of the last 4 years. We want to keep the prices down and respect the fact that when we're asking for funds from you, that you know that we are spending 100% of your dollars for what we are doing. So we are an unusual charity that way. So keep that in mind when you walk to the back. During the course of the evening, we will also have video screens on both sides, continuing to roll through different support areas in up to 57 nations, 57 countries. All types of poverty-stricken areas. It's my hope also that we do more in the U.S. and that we also pull together. And just as 3 of my tables over here, the Red Jackets, and Welcome Home Vets, and others, I would just ask the 3 tables of the veterans to just stand up for a moment to give you thanks. I'm chaplain for those 3 groups, and they come here to support us. I'm also going to ask all those in the room that weren't sitting at those 3 tables who have military background, either they were in the military or a family member was in the military, please stand up for just a moment. Now you can see probably a good third of the room has been touched by military. And I wanted to make the point, I feel very close to the military. I was very fortunate. My brother went to Vietnam, and when he came back, they spat on him. I didn't have the opportunity, quote, to go there. I stood guard for the Army when they had violence throughout the states. So I went out through different 5 states when they called up riot control and so forth. I was very fortunate. It's one of the reasons why I spent so much time beyond Mary Queen of All Nations mission to help them. Many of these veterans, remember, we got the freedoms from them. They come back without limbs, some don't come back. Their families are suffering. Welcome Home Vets here is working with Morristown Memorial Hospital, Trish O'Keefe over there, and basically they help recognize veterans in need as soon as they come into the hospital. We need to do more of this. Our groups need to work not so much in silos. We need to work with each other. I'd like each one of us, no matter what we do in terms of donating to our charity, maybe think about how we can make the world a better place in this sense. Don't think about Democrats or Republicans. The military, when they're in a foxhole, they don't ask. They just get the job done. And there's millions of poor in the United States, and there's millions of poor throughout the world. We see that poverty firsthand. And my problem is I can't say no to these things, and now the doctor has said slow down. So we're going to be looking for some new leadership. And one of the reasons we have such an event is if you are inclined to want to help the poor and the disabled and the hungry, talk to us. Talk to any one of the people with a boutonniere. Volunteer. See if there's a way you can help. I can tell you, looking around this group, there are many, many of you that are tremendous leaders. I know many of you. And you do different things, and you can get overloaded. But I'm also putting the flyer out there that you consider Mary, Queen of all nations in terms of helping us. If you can't help in terms of time, and that's the one thing that the volunteers do, they give their time. Many of us are not rich, but we give the time. We give as much as we can. And those that can't commit time, we also ask sincerely for your prayers, because some of us wouldn't be here if Jesus wasn't helping with our mission. And the third thing is, you always can pray, but in addition to that, if you have some extra money in your pocket tonight, I ask you to consider the silent auction. If you don't like something on the silent auction, and you can commit a check and so forth, all of that will add up. It will help us. And you have election day coming up, and this is kind of a vote on whether you like what you see in Mary, Queen of all nations. Even if you write a check for $1, we're going to record it as a vote that we're doing some good work. If you write it for $100 or more, that's great. All of it, I guarantee you, is going 100% to the poor for 35 years. So God bless you, and let's get on with it. Thank you.